This is The Sports Life.
Here we go. Clark comes off the screen. She's got a look. Fires it. Count it! Caitlin Clark for three.
Oh my God!
What a finish!
Oh my God!
Hawks win!
Holy cow!
And welcome into the Sports Life. We'll team in here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, I was Rob Brooks, and they're describing a Caitlin Clark game-winning shot from three. How many times did she do that, Dalton, in her career?
We have way too many audio clips of the same shot happening of Caitlin Clark.
You just put them on a loop. Hey, I need a game-winning shot. Well, there's like 5 of them over here for Caitlin Clark.
That's right.
Well, when it comes to this week's show, we're going to do something a little unique. We're going to revisit, before we really get rocking and rolling on the upcoming college football season, some of the award-winning moments we've had. Some of the things we think are worth rehearing and listening to one more time. Anyway, let's talk about the sounds of the week.
That's right. That shot that we played at the top, of course, was from 2023, a game winner against Indiana. Well, later on in that season, the 2022 to 2023 basketball season, Iowa would go to the Final Four. It would end up in a national runner-up finish for the Hawkeyes. So let's listen to the final moments of the win over Louisville in the Elite Eight to make it to the Final Four with the voice of Iowa women's basketball, Rob Brooks.
No timeouts for the Hawkeyes, so Kate just has to get it in bounds. Gets it into Molly Davis, who will just hold it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Jamie, there's going to be a lot of sleepless in Seattle tonight.
Oh, I won't be sleeping.
The Hawks head to Dallas for the Final Four for the first time since 1993.
Well, it's interesting that not only did they make the Final Four, which in itself is a big deal, but as we think back at that era in women's basketball, we're only talking 2023.
Right.
The impact the Iowa program had and Caitlin Clark had on the overview, people taking a look at how this sport of women's basketball had evolved, it brought so many good things. Good for Iowa to get to the Final Four, but good for the sport of women's basketball.
100%. I mean, what women's basketball became really from this run, what it birthed is truly amazing. And, of course, the next game, when they're in Dallas and in the Final Four, they would upset South Carolina, coached by Dawn Staley, and that would set up that championship game against LSU that we already know all the TV rating numbers that came out of that phenomena between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Well, in basketball in 2023, that wasn't the only exciting thing for the Big Ten, because on the men's side, number one was Purdue yet again. The Boilermakers been really hanging at the top of the country for a handful of years now, but Rutgers was able to upset number one Purdue in West Lafayette at Mackey Arena. Nobody wins at Mackey, but the Scarlet Knights get it done here. Here's what it sounded like with the voice of Rutgers men's basketball, Jerry Recco.
Come near side Spencer, back to Paul. Paul around his screen from Cliff. Mulcahy on the wing, 18 seconds left. Mulcahy, kick it out Spencer. Slide left, shoot the three for the lead. Yeah! With 13.3 to go, Rutgers up 65-64. Morton has it. 4:10 to go. Rutgers by 1. The lob. It'll be knocked away. And that's it. Final second off the clock. And for the second time in 2 years, Rutgers has beaten the number one team in the country. And for the second time in 2 years, it's Purdue. But this time, they do it on the road at Mackey Arena.
When I saw that score, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. Nobody wins at Mackey.
I don't think you're alone. I mean, it was impressive. And, of course, Purdue was on a dominant tear, but Rutgers, for whatever reason, they've just had the Boilermakers' number at times.
Well, when we come back with this week's show, we're going to revisit an unbelievable conversation we had with Jim Tressel. It's all coming up in just a moment.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little. But thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Every kid deserves a chance to feel safe, to have their own bed, to be loved and cared for. That's why I love my foster parents. They make me feel like part of the family.
Raise hope and foster dreams for one of 13,000 Michigan children in foster care. Visit michigan.gov/hope for a home or call 855-MICH-KIDS. That's 855-MICH-KIDS. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-965-1292. 800-965-1292. That's 800-965-1292.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Roxanne Watson is on a mission.
Hello, how are you doing today?
She wants more people to register as organ, eye, and tissue donors.
Are you an organ donor?
Yes, I am.
Yay. My goal is to sign up the most people in the United States.
What drives her? Roxanne's own life was saved through the gift of a heart transplant, made possible by an organ donor.
I decided that day that I was going to devote myself to the cause of organ donation and signing people up and honoring my donor by doing that.
Now she's back to health, and she's a powerful force helping to save lives every day through her work. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life.
8 people can be helped with the major organs, and up to 50 people can be helped with a little bit of everything. And when you think about it that way, that you could help that many people, it's amazing. It really is.
Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
And welcome back for more of the Sports Life. Will Team here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, as we said at the beginning, this show is about revisiting some award-winning moments. And this was a big one with Jim Tressel. Well, to say college athletics is in a state of turmoil could be a mild understatement. It's almost like if there's an issue to be found, you can find it somewhere in the NCAA universe. As the debate continues over how to compensate players for the services and which university teams will get the lion's share of the revenue share money, the massive amount of media coverage dealing with this situation for the most part has focused on Division I universities. Yet, as this situation continues to evolve, there has been far less coverage about all this and how it might affect Division II and Division III athletic departments, not to mention NAIA institutions. Well, if there is one individual who might have a solid understanding of the situation, it would be Jim Tressel, who has viewed college athletics from many different angles. In Jim's career, he has coached football at the 1AA level at Youngstown State, as well as the Division I level at Ohio State. And to his credit, he has led teams to 5 national championships. He has viewed athletics as a university president, and now he is in government as the state of Ohio's lieutenant governor. And we should note right here that some people believe government intervention could be the key to returning orderly behavior to this entire situation. So with that, let's welcome Jim Tressel into the show. And Jim, I guess I'll start with my first question. As we look at the overview here, how do you think all of this is going to affect Division II and Division III athletics?
You know, I think it's going to be an interesting chain of events. You know, we're kind of new in this sudden change, if you will. The only thing I always felt was the only thing constant was change. So, change was always occurring in the course of time. What will be interesting as you watch and start getting some data on some of these like portal situations and so forth, you're starting to see that you're hearing about the ones who have made changes and done very well, but we haven't heard much about the group that maybe it wasn't the best idea, and so I think we're going to need 5 years worth of just watching evolution. Obviously, if the Power Four picked up their ball and just went away, I think that would really affect the rest, because so much of the lower divisions, especially in terms of championships, are funded, by that top level and basically the NCAA tournament. I think if the Power Four ever picked up their ball and left, they might pick up both balls. That it could be impactful, and then all of a sudden, having championships in Division III track probably wouldn't happen, or Division II volleyball or whatever. But I think it's a little bit early to be able to adequately predict what will happen. But there's always impact along all levels when the various changes are made.
Well, Jim, one of the unique positions you have been in, you've seen athletics at the coaching level, and you've also seen athletics as a president of a university. So if you were still sitting in the president's chair, how might you view all this?
Well, it's interesting. One thing I realized after being a president for a while, I ended up doing it for almost 9 years, that it's really, with all that comes across your desk, it's really hard to become totally informed on everything. Obviously I had an advantage when it came to athletics because I'd spent 4 decades. And so it really made me wonder that if perhaps some of our, I guess I would call them unfortunate decisions, occurred back when the presidents started being in charge of intercollegiate athletics, as opposed to the athletic directors and former coaches, and because they really didn't have the in-depth knowledge of just what college athletics meant, and so they did though have an understanding of revenue opportunities and those types of things, and so I guess if I had a do-over for college athletics, I might not have gone the route of presidents taking control when they did. I think might have been the late 80s or somewhere in there, mid 80s, simply because having been a president, I realized that, man, if you're going to get really informed in your engineering school, your health sciences, your liberal arts, your this, your that, your fundraising, your community activities, I don't know how you would have time to really understand the nuance of something like intercollegiate athletics.
That's really interesting. And since we're talking specifically about your background and experience as university president, you talk about maybe eventually Division II championships in certain sports might have to phase away. And if I get on my own personal soapbox for a moment, I have a brother-in-law who was playing baseball at Purdue Fort Wayne, and after 3 years, he was getting ready for a senior season. They eliminated the program. They eliminated baseball and softball, and their university president was quoted saying as much as, in this new landscape, it's really hard for the regional universities to kind of stay there at that spot. But I'm curious, given your president experience, how much is a fear that programs in sports altogether, besides championships, just start to phase away in some of these other areas?
It worries me because sometimes those decisions are made by people who don't really understand the depth of the impact of a team activity. And not just the sports teams, but I know we had 9 engineering teams at Youngstown State, and you could see the quality of the experience that those engineers that became part of a team, they were just swooped up right away by business and industry, because business and industry wants people who know how to work on teams, who know how to compete, who know how to work under the gun. And so sometimes I worry that sports are eliminated just on we could save this amount of money. And again, it's back to, do they understand the nuance, the depth, or do they just look at, this is costing us money? And I felt as a college president, I wanted to add sports. We added women's bowling when I was there. In fact, Youngstown State was just the Division I national champions in bowling. We added men's swimming back because we had a women's swimming team. And I thought, while we're adding women's lacrosse, we could do the offset number and, still be in Title IX compliance. Why don't we just add those 40 male swimmers who average about 3.8, have great discipline, are going to go on and being wonderful employees. So I was always a believer in adding any team activity you could, whether it was a musical ensemble or a theater production or an engineering team or a volleyball team or a baseball team. It's hard to put the value of what that means to that person being part of that activity. And I believe our country, our workforce, our corporative world needs people who understand how to be on a team and how to compete.
Jim, where did that get lost in translation? I mean, that is part of the college experience. When did that get lost, that message?
I think there was a slow evolution that the value of sport that maybe 50 years ago was that, it was the lessons you learned, the work ethic, the discipline, the understanding of how to work as a team, the understanding you're going to have to handle when you lose and handle adversity, and you're also going to have to handle when things are going well, and all those lessons that sport teaches, all of a sudden they became maybe less a part of the conversation, and it became, where are you ranked? How much did you play? Did you get a trophy? Did you make the playoffs? And then now, of course, it's evolved to, and how much money are you making in NIL? And now, hey, you know what? If things are going tough and you're going to have to fight your way into the lineup, you know what? I'll just leave. So I think there's been a slow change to, what I always ask people when they say, well, what are we going to do about athletics? My response is always, well, first tell me what outcome you're desiring. So are we going to maximize revenue and compensation opportunity, or are you going to make the desired outcome be the values gained by playing the sport? Because once you know the answer to that, if the answer is revenue and notoriety, then you do it simply like a business. If the answer is all of the values you gain and all the things you learn, then you make it like an educational endeavor. So first you have to decide what you want from it.
Well, Charlie Baker, the new president of the NCAA, Jim, it looks like he's trying to find some government intervention to put sanity back into this college athletic situation. You're in politics now. Do you think that's the way to go?
Well, always the best way for things to happen is at a local level, organically, and to get all who are involved and affected to agree this is what we need to do. The minute you move toward, well, we need someone outside of town or someone, at the state capitol or the nation's capital to solve our problems, I'm not sure that's the best thing. they're kind of throwing their hands up saying, well, maybe the government will take care of this for us since, we've not figured it out. So I guess maybe it's their only option right now. I think it'll be interesting.
Well, Jim, I really appreciate it. And you have a view of this that most people don't have. So, by the way, do you like your new job?
I do. When people ask me that, I say, well, I like about 80% of it. And some people say, well, that's pretty good. I'm not sure I like 80% of my job. And I said, well, I used to like 98% of coaching. But it's good. It's fine. Our governor is just a special man, Governor DeWine. I would have never done it if it weren't him. He just cares about every Ohioan. He cares about everyone having the opportunity to reach their God-given potential. And it's been fun watching him do his best, because just as we were talking, college athletics is in a interesting time. So is government. And just watching the care that he takes to make sure we do our very, very best to make good decisions for all the people. It's been an honor to serve with him.
Jim, as always, I appreciate it.
Yepper. And, let's talk in 5 years and go back and look and see what we've learned.
You can see why that was an award-winning conversation. Back with more in just a moment.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Here's a real-life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten divorced and now you're struggling to pay your bills and your credit card debts are completely out of control, you need to call this special debt relief hotline right now. We help people with all kinds of money problems caused by different life challenges, a divorce, a job loss, even heavy medical bills. All these life events can sometimes financially stress you out and cause you to get out of control. We help people get their lives back by showing them ways to consolidate and reduce their debt, in some cases for a fraction of what they owe. If your credit card balances are more than $10,000, call us and learn how to reduce your credit card bills and monthly payments now. Here's our number.
Paid for by Debt.com. Call now, 800-810-1584, 800-810-1584, 800-810-1584. That's 800-810-1584.
That ought to do it. Totally energy efficient.
Oh no, not again. This time, we're getting help.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the battle of energy efficiency improvements. In this corner, Mr. I can save money and do it on my own. And in this corner, Miss Let's get it done right with some help. Fight! Or you could just go to avoidenergydrama.com. From sealing your home to helpful loan options, you'll find all the tips and tools you need to stop wasting energy and stay comfortable. Avoidenergydrama.com. Brought to you by Michigan Saves.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Depression won't show up on an eye chart, and you can't measure it on your bathroom scale. Sorting out a mental health concern is not something to attempt on your own. You won't find a bipolar disorder by looking at a thermometer. Like many other health conditions, help for mental illness takes professional diagnosis and treatment. Anxiety won't just go away under a stick-on bandage. So the sooner you seek treatment, the better. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. Find out what to do. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support. That's samhsa.gov/support.
And welcome back to more of the Sports Life. Will Teeman here along with Dalton Shetler. And don't forget, Auto Owners Insurance, simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners make sense for you. Well, when you think of Indiana, there's a lot of things you can think about. But we're going to revisit a conversation we had about Hoosier the Bison. Well, earlier this summer, news came from Bloomington that Indiana was going to have a mascot. And joining us on the show is Associate AD at Indiana University, Jeremy Gray. And Jeremy, can you just tell us what is going on here with this mascot talk?
Well, Indiana was one of a very small number of schools in the Big Ten that did not have a mascot. And over the course of Indiana's over 130-year athletic history, they have tried mascots at various junctures, and they have failed for a variety of reasons. But we figured it was time to bring one back. It was time to have one. And so this fall, we have introduced our new mascot, Hoosier the Bison. A lot of people, especially not from Indiana, can't quite get the bison connection. But if you look at the state seal of the state of Indiana, there's a bison on it. The buffalo trace, which is where bison migrated in the early years of the Republic, goes directly through Bloomington, Indiana. And it was actually the mascot from 1965 to 69. And if you walk around campus, you'll see little bison iconography in various pockets. Our ROTCs, the Bison Battalion, Nick's English Hut, which is the iconic bar in town, maintains the old bison mascot. And we just figured it was a good time to do it. And so at our first football game, it skydived into the stadium. And it's, I think, here to stay. It's been a big hit.
I was going to say, it's a way to make a splash. Just saw the parachute with the bison mascot dropping down into the stadium. You know, there's so many cool parts about this story, but you mentioned that a lot of people have been kind of confused or had questions about Bison, Indiana, how, why. A lot of people that I talk to in my life know I'm from Indiana, and they ask, what's up with the Bison and what's a Hoosier? I get those questions a lot, and being from Indiana, I don't always have the answer. So can you go in further detail about what the connection is between those and what those answers are?
So bison were native to the land in the early years of settlement. If you look at the state seal, there's a guy with an axe chopping a piece of wood with a bison jumping over it. So it was part of the early branding of the state, if you will, with the state seal. And it kind of coursed through Indiana University's history at various times because it was the regiment here, the ROTCs, the Bison Battalion. You'll see little bison logos throughout campus. From 65 to 69, they did have a bison mascot. It was a poorly constructed suit, so bad, in fact, that a cheerleader had to bring the guy in the suit onto the field with a leash because he couldn't see out of the eye holes with the oversized head. So it just was not a very practical mascot. And we were not successful in basketball in that time, which was the bellwether sport for the university at that time. And so it just kind of went away. But now it's come back. And I think it's a hit for a variety of reasons. One, a lot of the interest in bringing the bison back was directed by fans themselves rather than this being a top-down decision by the university to add it. There were fan groups dedicated to it. The student government voted to have the mascot return and be the bison. It's also kind of a tough animal, so I think it looks great and it's a good representation. And you mentioned people not being able to define what a Hoosier is. I don't think that this solves that conundrum. But Hoosier, maybe in some states, is seen as a bit of a pejorative. And there's old Big Ten mascot pictures from like the 70s and 80s where because IU didn't have a mascot, they would have like the list of mascots that we would put on a poster. And Indiana's would be a barefoot man with a straw hat with holes in his pants. And it's like, is that really what we want representing us? And I think the answer is no. And either you define yourself or others will define you. And I think having Hoosier the Bison here will be a good thing for the branding elements of the university.
I think you're spot on with that. That's a really interesting point. And you mentioned something there that this wasn't just an initiative from the top down of the athletic department in the university that was kind of pushed onto people. There actually was, and you alluded to it, the student government being involved, and they started the Bring Back the Bison Act, which passed in December of 2024.
What inspired the students to put this together and bring to you, and how neat is it that this came directly, organically from the student body?
Yeah, so there were a couple of elements that all kind of converged into one. So there was a faculty member named Paul Gutierrez about 5 years ago started Bring Back the Bison, and he'd pass out T-shirts and little foam bison mascots out in the parking lot of football games, trying to engender support for this. Then there was an apparel company called Home Field that actually put the retro bison on a T-shirt and just sold like crazy. So that really initiated some early interest in bringing back the bison. But then we had this highly successful football season that came out of nowhere last year. And with AI graphics, it would be, they would have a chain smoking because of Signetti bison stomping on, a Spartan after beating Michigan State, or a chain smoking bison knocking, the Washington Husky to the ground, or the Nebraska Cornhusker to the ground. And all of our fans started getting behind this idea. And then we saw game day here, and Lee Corso in his last season, our former coach, picks Indiana to beat Washington. And we don't have anything to put on his head other than an IU baseball cap. And we kind of saw that was a missed opportunity. And that the idea of bringing back the bison started to become more appealing for the department and the university itself. And then when the student government just kind of pushed this over the top, we're like, we got to do this. And so we started designing the suit, and we had drawings and all that kind of stuff that got here in early spring. The first suit arrived in about June, and we had a video series kind of tease that we were doing the mascot. And then it's unveiling in the fall. So it all just kind of worked together.
Well, we got just a couple more questions here, Jeremy. One, at the beginning of this, you mentioned he was reintroduced, Hoosier the Bison was, by skydiving in at Indiana for a football game. Curious how that whole thing came together, where you decided, you know what, why don't we have the Bison jump out of a plane and onto the football field?
Well, there were a couple of things that we had to do in order to make the launch of this successful. So first, we teased the idea that we were bringing it back with some graphics and video board elements that we had late last year in football season through basketball season, and with scheduled cards with bison horns on it, that we were teasing the idea to kind of soften the ground. We wanted the reveal to be interesting and fun, and so we had a video series in the spring once we got the suit to let everybody know that we are bringing back the bison. And then we just realized that its introduction is extraordinarily important to getting those who are not bought into the idea, and we had to do something dramatic. And we're like, well, what if we have it skydive into the stadium? And I'll tell you what, as the person who's had to kind of quarterback this initiative, I did not sleep well the night before. I'm like, what if it breaks an ankle on its way down, or the head pops off? Like, it's just like I had all sorts of doomsday scenarios. So when it finally landed and the place went completely bananas, it was a good day. I barely paid any attention to the football game after that because of the adrenal rush.
And Jeremy, thanks a lot for spending some time with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So there you have it, another award-winning chat that we had. This one was about Hoosier the Bison. Who would have guessed? Back with more in just a moment.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little. But thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
So I graduated last year and got a job. Sweet! But it got boring. I didn't really have a purpose. Then I started volunteering with Community Action. It's a statewide network with 29 agencies across Michigan. Community Action helps people with food, housing, utilities, childcare, senior services, you name it. I found my purpose, helping people, changing lives. Won't you join me? Call 1-855-MI-ACTION or go to MichiganCommunityAction.org. Sponsored by Michigan Community Action and Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-562-2407. 800-562-2407. 800-562-2407. That's 800-562-2407. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
And welcome back for more of the Sports Life. Will Tiemann here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, this cover story won us an award. It's a bittersweet replay of a great man who left us way too early. It's a visit we had with Terry Wymer. Well, this is a sad moment for the sports life and for the world of sports in general. On Saturday, October the 18th, Terry Wymer, one of college basketball's greatest officials, the executive director of the Collegiate Officiating Consortium, passed away at the age of 66, which shocked the college basketball world. As a tribute to Terry, we are going to revisit a cover story that aired this past summer on our show as a salute to his life and his times. Well, if you are looking for the traditional path that will lead you to becoming a Hall of Fame college basketball official, today's cover story will not be much assistance. You see, Terry Wymer, who became one of the most celebrated college basketball officials of his era, when he left high school, he headed off to Findlay College in Findlay, Ohio, never giving a single thought to officiating of any kind of basketball. Now, during his time at Findlay, he played on the Oilers' 1979 National Championship football team, led her 3 times in baseball, and in combination of all of those things that earned him a spot in the Findlay Athletic Hall of Fame. By the way, he's also been inducted into the Ohio Basketball Hall of Fame. Now, it was during this period of time at Findlay College, he dabbled in some high school basketball coaching, something he did not think suited him, but the idea of officiating basketball sort of intrigued him. So with that, his journey was off and running.
I always say, I'm a hick from North Baltimore. Nobody ever expected me to do this. And I tell my officials when they're starting out, if you expect you're going to work the Final Four, or you expect, you put it out there, 1% of 1% of 1% makes the Final Four. I mean, it's just very difficult to do. You have to have a lot of luck. You have to stay healthy. One of the best driving forces for me was I went to a Mid-American summer retreat over in Indiana. It was a golf course over there. And you may remember this name, Will, Eric Harmon. He was the supervisor. So we took, all the staff went in there, and I rode with an individual. And I'll never forget this. He said to me, "What's your aspirations?" I said, "I'd just like to have a full league schedule somewhere maybe in the Big Ten. I'd like to find a home to grow and things like that. He said, that could happen. That could happen. And I said, maybe I'd like to work some championships of the MAC and the Mid-Con or Summit and Big Ten. He says, well, that's pretty hard. I said, the really goal would be to work the NCAA tournament, which I worked 20 straight years. I said, I'd really like to work. He said, well, that's going to be hard. And so jokingly, I said, I guess the ultimate goal would be to work a regional or a Final Four. He looked at me and said, I never did, and you never will. So I put that in my back pocket, and I've always thought about that. I always gained strength from this. Tell me I can't do something, I'll find a way to get it done.
And get it done, Terry Wymer did. Before he retired, he would work 35 seasons as a college basketball official, 22 straight NCAA tournaments, 11 regionals, 5 Final Fours, 3 national title games, and 6 Big Ten tournament title games.
But why do you want to do it? I think it's because you want to do what's right for the game of whatever sport you're officiating. And I want to do what was right for the game of basketball. And the camaraderie with other officials. I would tell you this, well, it gets to be pretty lonely when you're on the road because the big joke was always, I'd go down to Miami and work. And like most places, if you're working a lot, you leave home about 4:30. I get to Detroit Airport. I get the first flight out because the first flight has to leave. Fly into Miami, check in. I go to bed, get up, clean up, have a late lunch, then meet the guys, do the game, and then same thing the next morning. You're up early. The joke was, hey, how was Miami Beach? Did you like Miami? I couldn't even find Miami Beach out of the University of Miami. I didn't know that, where it's at. But that was always the joke wherever you went. My last year, because I knew I was going to retire, I was 60, going to be 63. All my peers had, most of my peers, all my friends had retired, majority of them. And it was just like, why am I still doing this? I've accomplished everything I can accomplish. Give newer guys an opportunity to fill your spot, build a game. So I can tell you, my last year of officiating, I was only home 18 days and 5 months. But you know what? Your family sacrifices for you. You better, this is my 44th year of marriage. And without her, I couldn't have the family I have or had the freedom to do what I wanted to do. And the competition was good too. Just trying to be the best. But to answer your question, why do you want to do it? I think basically because they love the game and want to be part of the game, and do what's best for the game of basketball or football, whatever it may be.
Well, going in, if you're a college basketball official, at times you are not the most loved person on the court. Yet for Terry, it has been gratifying.
I've worked for some of the greatest coaches ever. I mean, and the biggest compliment you get was somebody see you on the road, hey, I feel good because I see you on the road. I know we're not going to get homered. Everybody thinks you're going to get homered, which it's a fallacy, but it's good to see you on the floor. But you got to understand where I come from. I come from a small farming community, right? And I've been very blessed with the opportunities. I've had dinner with Bill Murray, Morgan Freeman. I've met Morgan Freeman, John Grisham. I mean, you go right through all the people, President Bush, all the people that I've met. That doesn't happen for many people, let alone North Baltimore people, right? I've been to some of the best restaurants in the United States, stayed at some of the nicest hotels. That just doesn't happen to a normal person, so I'm very blessed. But those, and the people I just met along the way, even fans. I walk into arenas, I'll go to Maryland, that front row, 4 guys out there. There's just good people because I treated them respectfully. When they maybe yell at me, I went over and talked to them. They found out you're a human being, but that's what made it. And the coaches make a lot of it too. I mean, especially the coaches that have been around for a while. I don't want to get naming names, but some of the coaches have been around for a while. They just get it. and they understand it, and it makes it. They know you're not trying to miss calls. They know you're not trying to screw them. They know you don't care who wins. You want to be the most objective and best official on national TV there is. And that I took great pride in that. Because, my last name, Wymer, there was, my dad had 5 brothers. It was always important for me to make sure the Wymer name stood up strong, respectful, and that people could always look and say, hey, great family, great guy, great family man. And I always tell everybody, these young officials now, well, everybody wants to work in the Big Ten. It's tough to get to the Big Ten. It really is. And I always tell them you got to prioritize, faith, family, your job, and basketball. Put it forth. A lot of guys can't do that, so when they lose their job, they lose their family. They never did have faith, so it's just you gotta keep priorities. But the most fun things were the stories with these entertainers or other athletes. Cal Ripken, met him. The guys that own Under Armour at Maryland. Hey, Will, beating you, man, that's something. Meeting the voices. Jason Benetti's with the Tigers now. He does games, does a great job also. So, but meeting a lot of talent, because the talent, what I'd say, that is fair. There's a couple guys, and you would know, that just aren't fair, the officials. And sometimes not even fair to the players either. But for the most majority, the media is pretty good people too, for the most of it. So, but just being around good people and doing what's right in your life, that's a big thing.
As we have mentioned, Terry Wymer has worked 3 NCAA tournament national title games. In moments like this, the spotlight shines bright on everybody. Players, coaches, and yes, even officials.
Well, it's interesting because you got to put I think you got to have the right mindset. And what I tell people is, there's nothing that can happen in that game that you haven't seen all year. Because, you work 70 to 90 games. You've seen everything possible. Enjoy the moment. That's what I tell the guys, especially when they're going the first time. That's what was important for me, is to just enjoy the moment.
When it comes to athletics, there is performance, and also there is family.
Quick story we'll share with you. I have son Luke, son Eric, and my daughter Rachel, who's just going to turn 30. I always try to make all their sporting events. Luke played basketball, and in 4 years that he played varsity, I only missed 7 games. I can remember one day I was in Wisconsin for a noon tip, which are an hour behind Central, and I made it back to, it's a 6-hour drive. I made it back at halftime with a varsity game to watch them. And my wife wasn't real happy that I would speed possibly to get home. But my other son, he's a head track coach, or cross-country coach, assistant track coach at University of Findlay here, where I graduated from. But my daughter was a pretty good little soccer player and basketball player, but their basketball team was really bad. So my wife called me one night and said, hey, I got to tell you a conversation with Rachel. I said, what's that? Everything okay? Oh, everything's great. But she said, Dad really doesn't have to come watch me play because we're so bad. So, well, Dad wants to be there, support. It's important for him to get there with all you kids. And he said, yeah. He says, let me ask you a question. How many games is Dad working? And I gave him a number. Usually I work between 70 and 80. He says, well, how much do you average a game? Gave him a number. He says, my recommendation would be tell him to pick up more games so we can vacation more.
Terry Wymer is currently the executive director of the Collegiate Officiating Consortium and coordinator of officiating for the Big Ten Conference, a position he accepted in 2023. The consortium consists of, along with the Big Ten, the Mid-American Conference, the Horizon League, and the Summit League. Not the easiest of assignments.
The first year I took this over, in the first 3 years I let 75 officials go in our consortium. But it consists of the Big Ten, Mountain West Max Summit Horizon. Officials don't know when to say it's time. You know, they're either two ways. They go on their own, like I was intending to do before this job came my way, or you're going to be asked for a succession plan. What's going to happen? And then when you tell them this will be their last year, then they leave and they're all bitter. They don't look at all the success they've had for 20 or 25 years. That's a tough call. That's a tough call because, you know, they always say it's lonely at the top. I'd say officiating is a heck of a lot easier than this because I had to worry about one person. That was me. I could handle the coaches, so on and so forth, break down my video, and then make adjustments for the next game. Now I've got 140 on staff, which trying to get them all on the same page, it can be difficult. So we train a lot. It's you know, it's not an easy job by any means, but if it was easy, everybody would be in consideration. But you know, I brought some new faces in, which was very good, very helpful. I think they're well respected. Had to get rid of some people that was even working the Final Four that just didn't fit our model, so to speak. Because I always say this, you got to be a good locker room person, treat everybody with respect, and you got to be a good play caller. Now you got good play callers out there, but they're bad in the locker room, and if you can't get along with your partners, that's long. That's a long night.
For Terry Wymer, it has been a heck of a journey, one that is still underway, and a journey he never saw coming.
No, if you foresee this in a crystal ball, you're amazing. I would tell you this: God has a plan for everybody, Will, and I just took advantage of that plan and an opportunities. You can't progress unless you get opportunities, and I was blessed with guys that believed in me and gave me opportunities. But to foresee this, no. To dream it, yeah, but to actually have it come to fruition, but to foresee it, no. Been very, very blessed, very lucky.
Terry Wymer, one of the truly great individuals. Back with more in just a moment.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
So I graduated last year and got a job. Sweet! But it got boring. I didn't really have a purpose. Then I started volunteering with Community Action. It's a statewide network with 29 agencies across Michigan. Community Action helps people with food, housing, utilities, childcare, senior services, you name it. I found my purpose, helping people, changing lives. Won't you join me? Call 1-855-MI-ACTION or go to MichiganCommunityAction.org. Sponsored by Michigan Community Action and Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
If you have diabetes, listen up. If you have insurance, you can qualify for a continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends and spend more time in range, significantly lowering your A1C. More importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and if you've seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for your own CGM right now. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances will cover your CGM, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the Aptiva Medical CGM Health Hotline right now.
800-948-6912. 800-948-6912. 800-948-6912. That's 800-948-6912.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Anybody ready for a burger? I'm State Fire Marshal Rich Miller, reminding everyone to think safety first when it comes to outdoor grilling, whether it's charcoal or gas. Never overload your grill with food. Excess fat and grease will create large flames. Grill outdoors and never inside or in a garage. Never leave a grill unattended and always keep a fire extinguisher nearby. For more tips on safe grilling, visit the Bureau of Fire Services website at michigan.gov/BFS.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And welcome back for more of the Sports Life. Will Tiemann here along with Dalton Shetler. Hope everybody enjoyed our show today as we really reviewed some of the magic moments, award-winning moments for us, with some individuals who really had a lot to say, and what they had to say was worth listening to. So with that, we have now worked our way to the parting shots.
That's right. And by the way, if you've missed any of today's show, make sure you give us a follow at Sports Life Now. That's where you can find us on Twitter or X. That's again at Sports Life Now. We'll have all the award winners posted right there. So make sure you go back and give it a listen. But for my parting shot, this past week actually was Big Ten Volleyball Media Days, which has been a thing now for the last couple of years. It's a great event to really kind of capture and launch into the new season, a sport that is gaining in popularity just year over year. And the Big Ten's trying to take advantage of that. And they're doing it in a couple of ways. One, they're going to broadcast 93 volleyball matches on television this year between their partners Big Ten Network, Fox, and FS1. 93 volleyball matches will be aired on those. That's a huge number. That's a great thing for the sport. But also, this will be the first year for a Big Ten volleyball championship tournament that'll be played down near Indianapolis in Fishers, Indiana. But the Big Ten is now going to have a championship postseason-wise for the sport of volleyball. And that goes to show, again, how the Big Ten is trying to capitalize on the rising popularity for the sport and the teams in it.
And they're the best conference in the land.
If anybody should take advantage, it is the Big Ten.
I mean, the Big Ten owns it.
That's right.
Which sounds crazy, doesn't it?
Does.
We own volleyball. We do. Well, my parting shot, Dalton, is really a reflection of what I just said a moment ago. As we listened back to these award-winning chats we had, things Jim Tressel said made you really review the substance of what we're kind of all about. And in Terry Wymer, the wisdom in his approach to things, I don't know how you replace something like that. And so as you go back and you listen to these things, you go, you know what? Tressel, the things he's saying, that's why we love this, even though we know there's issues. We hope there's another Terry Wymer somewhere on the rise. There's got to be, because you need these people as your substance for college sports. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. And, man, it was kind of fun going back and listening to those things again. And we should also note that you can find us wherever you find your podcasts, like SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple. And make sure to check us out and hit subscribe. As always, thanks to the Big Ten Network. The Sports Life is produced by Dalton Shetler. And our executive producer is Wendy Hart. So on behalf of Dalton, I'm Will Tiemann, and thanks for your time.